Welcome to WION. I'm Karthik Sharma and let's take a quick look at the headlines. US Secretary of State Rex Tillerson says Russia meddling in US presidential elections created serious mistrust. Says United States will respond to Russian expulsion of diplomats. Damascus slams US over use of chemical weapons and airstrikes on residential areas and hospitals. The United States says North Korea must end missile and nuclear tests for talks to begin. North hits back, vows 1,000-fold revenge. Umar Abdullah and Farooq seen hunting and uniting the opposition in Jammu and Kashmir and holds an opposition meet. This after a report emerges, Centre reviewing Article 35A that defines the residents of Jammu and Kashmir. Rex Tillerson also said US is ready to open dialogue with North Korea if it is ready to stop missile tests. Tillerson made the statement during a meeting of the leaders at the ASEAN summit in Manila on Monday. Last month, North Korea conducted the 2 intercontinental ballistic missiles tests, leading to tension on the Korean peninsula. Earlier, in a rare meeting with North Korean Foreign Minister Ri Yong-ho spoke to his South Korean counterpart Kang Young-wha and said that the offer of the talks by South Korea is insincere. South Korea had earlier proposed talks with North to ease tensions on the Korean peninsula after North's repeated missile tests. Meanwhile, China has warned North to be smart and drop its missile program after the United Nations Security Council unanimously voted to press new sanctions on Pyongyang.
We're not going to give someone a specific number of days or weeks. This is really about the spirit of these talks, and they can demonstrate they're ready to sit with a spirit of finding a way forward in these talks by no longer conducting these missile tests. So this is not give me 30 days and we're ready to talk. It's not quite that simple. In terms of these most recent round of sanctions, I think your point is well taken that when do these actually have a practical bite on their revenues? I think perhaps the more important element of that is just the message that this sends to North Korea of how unacceptable the entire international community finds what they're doing.
朝鲜的外长到了这个会场，他可以亲耳来听取其他各方就朝鲜半岛问题所发表的意见。我认为这种相互交流是有益的，那么不光是对其他方有益，对朝鲜方面也是有益的。
The Kim Jong-un regime in North Korea should be concerned after the Beijing's warning because China is its biggest trading partner. The country is already isolated by international community since UN sanctions, will find it difficult to make ends meet, and it cannot rile China in the present circumstances. China's warning to North Korea comes in after Beijing voted for imposing fresh sanctions against the country. The fresh sanction move by the United States comes in after Kim tested 2 intercontinental ballistic missiles. UN Security Council unanimously backed the resolution that significantly strengthens sanctions on North Korea, imposing a ban on exports aimed at depriving the country of $3 billion in annual revenue. Meanwhile, North remains defiant. This is what the country's state television had to say. US Secretary of State Rex Tillerson has said Russian meddling in the US presidential election had created serious mistrust between the two countries. Tillerson also warned Russia over its decision to order a cut in the size of the US Moscow mission.
Russian meddling in the elections was certainly a serious incident. We talked about it in the discussion we had with Minister Lavrov yesterday, and trying to help them understand just how serious this incident had been and how seriously it had damaged the relationship between the U.S., the American people, and the Russian people, that this had created serious mistrust. Foreign Minister that we had not made a decision regarding how we will respond to Russia's request.
Earlier, Tillerson and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov meet on the sidelines of the ASEAN summit in Manila. The meeting was the first since US President Donald Trump signed the sanctions that Russia said amounted to a full-scale trade war and ended hopes for better ties. The Russian Foreign Minister said he believed that his US colleagues were ready to continue dialogue with Moscow on complex issues despite bilateral tensions. Lavrov described his talks with Tillerson as lengthy and said that they covered a wide range of topics from the nuclear issue on the Korean Peninsula to coordination plans between Russia and the United States to withstand attacks.
Foreign Minister that we had not made a decision regarding how we will respond to Russia's request to remove U.S. diplomatic personnel. I asked several clarifying questions just to ensure I understood kind of their thinking behind that diplomatic note we received, but told him we would respond by September the 1st. I think, again, these are two very large countries, and we should find the places that we can work together. Let's try to work together. The places we have our differences, we're going to have to continue to find a way to address those.
Мы заинтересованы в поддержании диалога с АСЕАН по международной проблематике. Предлагаем сконцентрироваться на тех областях, где мы можем координировать наши подходы по наиболее актуальным вопросам глобальной и региональной повестки дня, включая строительство в Азиатско-Тихоокеанском регионе архитектуры безопасности и сотрудничества, наращивание совместной работы по противодействию многочисленным вызовам и угрозам.
Syria has accused the US-led coalition forces of using banned phosphorus bombs and launching airstrikes on residential areas and hospitals. The Syrian Foreign Ministry sent letters to the UN Secretary General and the UN Security Council condemning the coalition strikes using banned weaponry on civilian infrastructure without the country's government consent. Damascus said that it is a blatant violation of the international law under UN resolutions. The news of the banned phosphorus bomb striking civilian hospital in Raqqa comes to notice after Syrian citing the deputy head of the local branch of the Red Crescent. The Syrian Foreign Ministry said in a statement, and I quote, "The systematic bombing of residential areas, houses of civilians, the destruction of the Raqqa State Hospital and the use of white phosphorus by the aircraft of the international coalition are a blatant violation of international law." Moreover, the Syrian Foreign Ministry has urged the United Nations Security Council to fulfill its responsibilities to preserve peace and security. Damascus also called on all countries to comply with Security Council resolution on combating terrorism. According to Syrian state media, in less than a week, more than 50 civilians were killed in a coalition's bombing. This is not the first time that the US-led coalition has used banned phosphorus bombs in Raqqa strikes. In June, the coalition used banned white phosphorus to screen and mark targets in Raqqa during the operation to liberate the Syrian city from Islamic State. Shortly after, a small group of men dressed in military fatigues released a video declaring start of a coup in Venezuela. Ruling Socialist Party's deputy Diosdado Cabello has said that there had been a terrorist attack by a small group of men dressed in military fatigues at a military base in Valencia. A few human rights activists also tweeted about the flyers that were distributed to locals around the base, announcing what is called Operation David to seize the base. Locals reported hearing gunshots overnight. Cabello also said that the several arrests have been made and that the troops acted quickly to control the situation at the base. Take a look at the video doing the rounds on the internet.
Buenos días y bendiciones para toda Venezuela. Les habla el capitán Juan Caguaripano, comandante de la Operación David Carabobo, desde la 41 Brigada Blindada Cantonada en Valencia. Me acompañan oficiales y tropas de esta gloriosa unidad del verdadero ejército venezolano forjador de libertad, así como tropas activas y de reserva de todos los componentes, policías, hombres y mujeres valientes, amantes de la paz y la libertad. Nos declaramos en legítima rebeldía, unidos hoy más que nunca con el bravo pueblo de Venezuela para desconocer la tiranía asesina de Nicolás Maduro. Aclaramos que esto no es un golpe de Estado. Esta es una acción cívica y militar para restablecer el orden constitucional. pero más aún para salvar al país de la destrucción total, para detener los asesinatos de nuestros jóvenes y familiares. Como militares institucionales reconocemos y respetamos a la Asamblea Nacional, pero exigimos que ésta reconozca y respete la voluntad de un pueblo por librarse de la tiranía, que honre la memoria heroica de jóvenes como Neomar, Geraldine, Pernalete y otros tantos que con escudos de cartón, pero con corazones de acero, ofrecieron sus vidas para enseñar a un pueblo a derrotar el miedo. Señores de la Asamblea Nacional, ya pasó el tiempo de pactos y acuerdos ocultos entre tiranos y traidores. Necesitamos políticos honestos que pasen por encima de las cúpulas corruptas.
And the latest report breaking in is that the security forces have launched a cordon search operation in Pulwama's Pinglena village following specific inputs and presence of terrorists in that area. And this is the breaking news which we are getting from the state of Jammu and Kashmir. And soon I'll be joined by my colleague Khalid from the state. And Khalid is there with me on the phone line. Khalid, tell me what's the update from Pulwama?
Well, it's a village in Pulwama district where a CASO, coordinated search operation, has been launched by security forces after the input that there may be some presence of militants in the area. However, if we recall the previous night, we have seen a encounter in the same district that was in Sambura area, which is just around few kilometers, around 20 to 22 kilometers away from the Pinglena. So the CASO is again intact, and there is an information that few militants may be hiding in the area. However, the house which they are hiding or are hiding is not zeroing yet, but the CASO is intact, and we have been seeing regularly CASOs going on in South Kashmir. A few days back on Saturday, we have seen altogether 24 coordinated search operations a day at a time when they were trying to random search in the areas, because the presence of militants in the area is still above 100, and in past few months around 75 militants have been eliminated by security forces. And if we say this year the total target is which is called the Operation All Out for security forces, and until now this year 125 militants have been eliminated under this operation.
Khalid, you know, there have been, I would say, a substantial or a paradigm change when it comes to policy of the military and the Jammu Kashmir police in the valley. That being that repeatedly they are going after, I would say, high-end or high-value targets or high-value terrorists rather than going after random, players of the terror groups. So they are going for the leaders of the terror network. Is it a well-thought-of change, or is just it's a matter of event or coincidence?
Well, when we asked this question today, recently to the Chief of Police, Mr. Munir Khan, he asked that the question is that we want to stop the new recruitments to the militant ranks, and that is only done by the commander. So the primary target of the security forces is to eliminate the commander, so that the fresh recruitment, which is a worrisome issue in the South Kashmir especially, will be stopped. And that's why the prime focus is commanders like we have seen that Abu Dujana or Sabzar Ahmad, but like Junaid Masood, the commanders of Lashkar and HM are being targeted in previous couple of months in South Kashmir. So this is clear that the strategy is to eliminate or arrest the commanders of the militant outfits. So the fresh recruitments which we have been seen in last 1.5 years in South Kashmir will be stopped, because that is worrying when we see on Fenras the militants coming and following their Kalashnikovs and firing on the movement, and this attracts more youth to join the militant ranks.
Khalid, please be precise on this. You know, I'm running short of time. What is the specific input you are receiving from Pulwama? Is it again about a high-value target?
Well, that can be seen later, because this time earlier, this is very early to say that who is hiding inside the house, because they have the human intelligence input that few militants, maybe of Lashkar Sahib, are hiding in the area. That's why the coordinated search operation is intact in there.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Khalid. So my colleague Khalid reporting from Pulwama and giving us the latest from the spot, saying that the cordon search operation is on, and the police forces and the military suspect that the terrorists are hiding there. Moving on, days after Punjab government issued a notification to extend the house arrest of Hafiz Saeed by 2 months, he has declared that he will launch a political party and contest the next federal election. The terror mastermind will be making the announcement later today. This report looks at why Hafiz Saeed is making his foray in politics.
The person who has traded in bullets to take human lives, innocent lives, is he trying to hide behind ballot? That's a matter of concern.
This is the man he's talking about. One of India's most wanted terrorists. The man behind the 2001 Indian Parliament attack, the 2006 Mumbai train bombings, and the 2008 Mumbai terror attacks, which took more than 150 lives. Under house arrest, Jamaat-ud-Dawa chief Hafiz Saeed is seeking an image makeover. He wants to float a political party on the 14th of August, the Independence Day of Pakistan. Hamari Siyasat, Khidmat Insaniyat reads a poster of the rebranded outfit, which means our politics is for serving humanity. Saeed has been under house arrest since 31st of January along with 4 of his aides, but he remains an influential figure and continues to organize anti-India rallies openly. Reports say over 50 religious political parties have come together to seek an end to his house arrest and are expected to form an alliance for the next general election. The question is, will the world stand by and watch this charade? Pakistan claimed to have banned Lashkar-e-Toiba in 2001. Saeed renamed the outfit after the attack on the Indian Parliament, and it re-emerged as Jamaat-ud-Dawa. The United Nations has recognized Jamaat-ud-Dawa as a political front of the Lashkar. Despite Washington's reservations, Pakistani ministers routinely attended Jamaat rallies. India has long been calling the house arrest a farce. And now, the Pakistani army is integrating him into mainstream politics. In fact, the bid to introduce extremism in Pakistan's politics isn't new. The idea was first articulated by former ISI chief Hamid Gul. Known for his support to the Taliban during the Afghan war, he once said that jihad is the state's responsibility. Hafiz Saeed's move is the implementation of that idea. It's the army's attempt to build a new jihad narrative. By floating Jamaat-ud-Dawa as a political party, Hafiz Saeed wants to make the most of the current political flux in the country. The move will also prevent Jamaat cadres from joining other terrorist groups. By floating a party, the Jamaat also wants to gain legitimacy and shore up support in the economically backward areas of Fatah, Balochistan and Karachi. Pakistan's military knows there's no public appetite for a coup. It orchestrated the ouster of Nawaz Sharif using the JIT and the Supreme Court, and now wants to install its man in Parliament. Bureau Report, WION.
National Conference leader Farooq Abdullah has warned the centre, saying if Article 35A is abrogated, then there will be a bigger revolt in Kashmir than the Amarnath Rao. He also said that I will launch an awareness campaign in all regions of the state on this issue. Farooq also accused BJP and RSS of eroding the autonomous structure of the Jammu and Kashmir state. He said that he hopes that the Chief Minister, Mehbooba Mufti, will quit if Article 35A is abrogated. Earlier, former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah accused the BJP of playing with fire on the issue of Article 35A. Remember, the article deals with the definition of the permanent residents of the Jammu and Kashmir. Presently, the state has the power to define that, and that is precisely the reason why Indians, except those living in the state, can't buy property there. He's learned to be uniting all opposition leaders against the centre and even accusing Mehbooba government of playing into the hands of the BJP. Omar Abdullah tweeted that the BJP would knowingly play with fire and Mehbooba Mufti would facilitate it just to remain in office. Is irresponsible beyond belief.
You all know that the agenda of BJP and RSS is basically to erode the autonomous structure of this state. What is this Article 35A for? Protecting the people of this state, whether from Jammu, Kashmir or Ladakh. I think Chief Minister of the state has made a statement that if 35A is removed, she will quit the chair. I hope she stands by that statement of hers.
The news from Tamil Nadu, where youth BJP leader Poonam Mahajan met superstar Rajnikant at his residence. Mahajan, who is BJP Yuva Morcha president, tweeted several pictures of a visit to Rajnikant's home. Rajnikant's possible plunge into politics has been doing the rounds for the past few months. He had earlier met representatives of several organizations, including the Hindu Makkal Kachhi. Rajnikant, however, has maintained that nothing and politics that was being discussed in the meeting.
I have no idea what he has expressed. He is the leader of people. He is in people's heart. I feel his place, Honorable Rajnikantji's place, is in people, Tamil people's heart. And that's the bigger space and bigger place than anything else, and I respect that.
And Muhammad Orabi, a Syrian artist, refuses to use war as a selling point. Inspired by his 6-year-old, he delicately picks out the faces of young women staring out from the canvas with his brush. The artist says that his paintings are his will to live and says he does not want to beg for emotions and doesn't want the Syrian cause to turn into the child that beggars carry with them to express emotions. Take a look.